Let's just watch this real quick.
Ninja and Marvel Rivals. So the big headline is that Ninja's choosing to leave Marvel Rivals because of the toxicity he's been experiencing. And fair enough, he's not really wrong about the toxicity thing. Marvel Rivals has sort of been a dumpster fire with that. Remember when women were just trying to play and the community basically said, "How dare you exist?" Or when support players finally got fed up and went on strike because they were tired of being everyone's personal punching bag? Even the devs had to come out and say, "Hey guys, how about you chill for a second and try being decent humans?" So yeah, Marvel Rivals definitely has its issues. But here's where I'm raising an eyebrow. Ninja complaining about toxicity in Marvel Rivals is like Gordon Ramsay yelling at a burnt steak he cooked himself. Ninja's been feeding that toxic culture. If you don't believe me, take a look at the fact that none of his friends wanted to queue with him in Marvel Rivals anymore. What? You think they all just suddenly decided they'd rather solo queue? Nah, it's because every time Ninja joined, the voice chat turned into a circus of screaming and finger pointing. Like every time I saw Tim's stream, Ninja was yelling at someone like it's Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Dude couldn't even let a lost team fight slide without turning it into a Broadway production. So how are you gonna sit here, make a big statement about quitting the game because of how toxic it is, when you were the one practically handing out the toxic starter kits to everyone in the lobby? It's giving major, "I'm quitting this party," because everyone's rude energy, while you're the one breaking furniture in the living room. And of course, you've got all these other big streamers, like Flats making videos, where they're nodding along like it's a sermon at Sunday service. Of course, they're gonna back him up. These guys all know each other. They're not about to step out of line and say, "Yo, Ninja, maybe you're also part of the problem here." Nah, it's all, "Oh yeah, so true, King," because it's easier to protect their own than actually address the real issues. I don't know, to me it all feels so weird. Like Ninja's been nurturing this exact kind of toxic nonsense since the Fortnite days. This isn't new. So seeing him now acting all shocked and offended about Marvel Rivals toxicity is just chef's kiss level of hypocrisy. It's like he suddenly discovered the swamp he's been living in all along. Look, I'm not here to say Marvel Rivals isn't a toxic mess. Believe me, it absolutely is. But don't go around acting like you're just some poor soul who got burned by the bad vibes, when you've been the one stoking the fire for years. If you're gonna call out the community, at least have the self-awareness to admit you're part of the problem. Otherwise, it's just a whole lot of noise from someone who's been the biggest amplifier of that same negativity all along.
I didn't say he said it. I mean, that's very true. I think Ninja kind of, you know what? Not kind. He did. Ninja did started most of the personal, not personal attack, but most of the toxicity, like attacking teammates for how they play and all that. Even when someone who are trying, like him trying to really scapegoat his way out of it and try to say, "Oh, the reason why I'm retiring is the community's being toxic." I can't buy that. That's like the wrong person, the wrong messenger. Like, give me the right messenger saying their reason for quitting Marvel Rivals, who happen to be a major content creator, and I could literally say I agree with them. To this point, I do agree that Marvel Rivals do has a toxic community, but that's just any typical game that you see out there. That's FPF. I mean, not FPF, but PvP in general. It's it's very it's just, here's the thing. You got everyone from different backgrounds and different personalities that just jumping onto the game, and you're just going to bunch up with people that just ain't going to mash with your type of personality. You know what I mean? And at some point, especially in comps, because comps, ranks and comps, man, let me just tell you, it's the desire to win. It's the desire to dictate. It's the desire to feel like you better than everybody. That is the mentality that's in ranks in Marvel. Everyone has this desire to want to be better than everybody. Everyone has this desire to feel like they have all the information and all that. You know what I mean? And then it's the desire to just quit or just really bash people for not living up to your type of standard. I had to do that scroll. Not living up to your typical standard as of skill wise. And this is all part of what Marvel has to look deeply into. I think the problem with Marvel at this point is that, and I don't want to beat this horse again and again. Some people, and let me just speak from a casual player standpoint. All right, I'm a casual player, and I suck. As a casual, low skill player, right? And I mean this, a low skill player. When you have a egotistical group of people in ranks that are just entitled, right? They're just entitled. And then you have those who are just like me that think like they're entitled, right? And they act like they know what they're doing, but they're in the same rank as me. All right? I'm talking about, let's say I'm in, like right now I'm in gold, but before I was in silver. So let's just say that if I was in silver and someone's in silver, think like they're highly better than everyone in silver because they have all the knowledge, but they're here in silver, right? And then the matches don't go the way or the players don't perform the way, right? And so they end up throwing people's matches on top of that. You know what I mean? And some of them happen to be content creators. There lies the problem. And on top of that, players feed off of content creators' information as of things that they have never experienced but feel like they experienced it before. If y'all catch where I'm going with this. These are the things that's happening, as well as the everyday sexist comments that comes out of people's mouth, the everyday uh you know homophobic, transphobic language that comes out, the slurs and everything that happens on Marvel is just the devs. The devs do monitor. They do a good. I'm not gonna sit here and take away the devs and what they do, you know, well at, because they do well at, you know, getting rid of some of the behaviors as well as certain hacking and stuff like that. However, they even when they do one thing right, where is my phone? Okay, it's a weird number. Even when they do one thing right, there's always a wrong in it. Because if you get rid of one problem, another problem comes back. And this is why I say it's hard for you to get rid of the problem because it's always going to come back. It's always going to resurface. And the more you keep doing it, it makes it more for the devs to pay attention and be monitoring the issue. But then again, they're going to get to the point where they don't want to keep doing it because they're going, you know what? We're tired of you keep reporting this player, and but there needs to be something to be addressed about it, because if that rhetoric continues to happen as of the players being a little bit over aggressively offensive with whoever is playing or whatever, I think it's going to lead to some things happening as of this players just saying, you know, enough is enough. This game's completely sexist. This game is completely transphobic, homophobic, and things like that in that nature. Players just going to stop playing the game. And that's the one thing you don't want to have is that community just giving up on the game because of the nature that exists on the game. I do like you're not gonna get like a good wholesome community. I just want to point that out there. You're not gonna get a wholesome community. That's never possible. You're just gonna have to surround yourself with the right people to play with. I just think that when we look at things in the gaming as a whole, as a gaming community as a whole, because I think I did a video and I was like really talk about it. It was from a young lady, I forgot her name, and she was like literally breaking this down, and she wanted to really hope that the gaming community could fix this. And this is something that as a whole, as a gaming community, that we need to address and fix. Like I said, it's not going to be wholesome, and I don't mind insults. Just so you know, I don't mind the insults that's directed at my gameplay. You know what I mean? It's like you can say whatever it is about how truly trash I am as a player and whatever, because I think in reality that's just normal trash talking. But it's when it becomes a personal attack, when it's not even that deeply serious. I just think in general that is where we need to fix the problem at. It's all right to be on a level of just trashing my game, but when we're talking about a personal attack on my gender or my sexualities and things in that nature, I think that's where the issue is really something that they had to look into. But Marvel does do a great job of just banning players and timing them out. It's just the community has to start stepping up to try to get rid of the bad actors. Which is another thing that Marvel needs to start doing, is looking into finding ways to limit the amount of accounts that's been opening, because a lot of accounts have been opened because these are players who've been banned and restricted from play, so they have to start over with a new account and still continue with the bad behavior. So I do think that Marvel has to take a deep look into how are they going to address the multitude of alt accounts that's being used for bad actors to come back to continue to doing what they're doing, to cause more issues in the community. So I think it's just a lot of things they need to do. But Ninja saying all this is just kind of just weird, because it's like he's been known for what he does and what he says to other people. And for him to play victim and everyone wants to feel sorry for him, it's like I can't feel sorry for someone that literally provokes some of the stuff that happens. You know, you could literally go to one streams and tell them how bad they play in the game, and then at the same time, when they dish it out back at you, you get pissed off about it and you start making this whole rant about how toxic it is when you are, like they said in this video, the contributor to it. I just find that really interesting. You know what I mean? So if this was coming from someone else that doesn't contribute to the toxicity, but just been, pretty much targeted by others just because they're, let's say they're a female Marvel Rider player who just plays supports or whatever, they just get targeted because they're a female playing support or DPS or whatever, and they just get harassed consistently and get screen snipes every day, and they literally completely just do nothing but just exist in the game and play it, then yeah, that messenger saying, hey, I'm done with Marvel because of how much I had to deal with as a female Marvel rival player. I said Marvel rivals player. Then yeah, I can literally bounce on that. Or anyone in general that don't have to be a female, I can literally jump on that and literally say, yeah, something has to be done. But when someone is the contributor, I can't really say that they are like the perfect angel or the perfect person. No, because if you contribute to it, then it's you. But there are women there are females and gays, lesbians, trans, and people like that really dish it out. They don't just sit there and take it, like really take the insults and just be like, oh my god. They don't just fold back into the victim mode. They did really to dish it out, like seriously. But yeah. Tell me what you think of this video. I'm about to get off. I'll see you in the next one. I'm out, everyone. Bye.